key organisers of what is a touring set of events around chemtrailing. Good afternoon, Mona, how are you?
Hello Deborah, I'm well, thank you very much.
Superb. I like to hear that all my guests are well, since it's about food for thought. And now, just give the audience a little bit of a background about yourself and how you've become involved in highlighting the chemtrailing issue that's actually happening in our skies.
Right, okay, well, photography. I think photography was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I had several awakenings over the past 4 years. I'd call them spiritual awakenings, where I just felt like I had moments of waking up and letting go and not being so afraid and being more curious to actually look into things that in the past that I was afraid to look into, and I guess letting go of things that I've been programmed to believe in. So when through my photography, my passion is photographing the sunsets and the moonrises. And I spent a few years focusing on getting really beautiful shots. Now I live in West London, and people always say, oh, well, you've got so many airports in West London, you know, so much pollution. But for years I was still managing to get beautiful sunsets in West London, where I live in Ladbroke Grove. And then all of a sudden, 2011 and the beginning of 2012, I just noticed a massive change. I could not get a clear picture of the sunset. And I met Olga Raffa back in 2011 through a mutual friend, and she was the first person who mentioned chemtrails to me, and it was a seed that was planted, you know, and you know, I believed everything she said. It made a lot of sense. And with me, I've learnt to listen to my gut and to listen to my heart above my head. My head will rationalise, and it's very logical and it's very programmed. So I normally let go of everything that my head tries to tell me, and I try to listen to my gut. And my gut was just really saying, well, this makes a lot of sense. And so last summer, we had the most horrific day in London where the whole sky was a grid. And it was really frightening to experience. And that was a moment where it was horrifying. It was really, really horrifying, and it was a massive wake-up call for me. And I took a lot of photographs on that day, and I made a promise to myself, and I made a promise to the universe, and that promise was I was going to do everything that I could and that I was able to do, no matter how little, to try to spread awareness, not just about the geoengineering and the chemtrail, but for people to, you know, to wake up and to take responsibility for their own consciousness, and that, you know, if we act out of love and not fear, we overcome. I mean, the problem for me was I was afraid for many, many years. I was afraid to unlearn everything that I had learned. Not just through, you know, the education that I'd received, but all of the nurturing and all the social programming, to let go of everything and to trust in something that, you know, that's connected me with everybody that I've encountered ever since I made that decision. I feel that I have a really strong and beautiful connection. And that's why I think through Olga, we set up a meeting in Nailsworth, in Stroud, and that was like the beginning of everything. She organised that with Alex, the two of them who put together Chemtrails Project UK, and we set up. It was an opportunity for people to come and watch Why in the World Are They Spraying, listen to a little bit of the directive which Alex and Olga put together, and ask questions. But primarily it was for people to get to actually come and meet and to talk in person instead of just over the internet, which is what many of us have done for a long time. And then after that, and the success of that, and the energy that I got from that, and the support, that I just realised, well, let's just keep doing this. Let's just try to give people the opportunity to meet in person, to share information, and to look for solutions. And that's what gave me the idea to put the London Chemtrail Awareness Conference on, which happened in December 2012, where I met you.
Yes.
And you know, just from doing that, my background, I've had a lot of emotional, my journey, my life journey, I've been very ups and downs, lots of pain, lots of struggling, but that was my journey. And due to all of the pain and the struggling I have been through, for me, my daughter, I've got a soon to be 13-year-old daughter who's taught me about the Four Noble Truths in Buddhism, pain and suffering. That's just part of my journey where I've learned and I've grown. So I look back on my life, and everything that I've done in my life and all the pain and all the struggles have led me to learn a lesson and to help me build my spirit to do what I'm doing now. So with the conference, back to the conference, I've been in communication with certain people on the internet. I've been doing a lot of research, and I came across Max Bliss, a couple of his videos, and I just loved his energy. And for me, it is about, if I remember being at school, I was definitely a person at school who didn't connect with the teachers unless they were passionate. And I would normally spend my days looking out the window and daydreaming. But for me, if somebody's going to teach me something, it's really important that for the message to get through that they are passionate and they're really coming from the heart. And when I listened to Max Bliss, I really got it, and I really felt his energy. And so I contacted him and I asked him, would you be able to come and do a presentation at the conference? And he didn't even hesitate. He just said, yes, I'll be there. And that the same could be said for Ben Dodds, Alan Potter, and Alex Longman, and they all just said, yeah, we'll do whatever. And that's something that's given me great strength, that there are people that are willing to do anything, just having the opportunity. And as myself saying that my background has not been within putting conferences on, and I'm not the best organizer, but I have learnt to be humble, and I have learnt to ask for help. For years and years, I thought, no, you can't ask for help because that shows that you're weak. In all of the sort of social programming, let go of it. And now I ask for help, and people have offered. So many people are offering to help at the moment, and that's what it's all about. No matter what little or amount you can give, everything helps. And so after the London conference was a massive success in the sense it got a lot of people together. People travelled from, the north of England, from Wales. Max had come over from southwest France. Terry had come over from Ireland, and it was a wonderful energy. And since then, we've been organising lots of gatherings in central London as well, where we meet up and we hand out information to the public. And then Max, we've got a protest happening this Saturday in Hyde Park, and Max was coming over for that, and we just thought, well, if you're coming over to England, why don't we were going to do the tour in June. We thought it would be a good idea to do a group of conferences, not just in London, but take them around the country to places where these people need connecting and needing to connect more to their community. And because Max is coming over he was coming over for the protest on Saturday, we just decided last minute to try to set up as many conferences as we could. So we got word out to people around the country who could set up conferences in a short space of time, and I guess that's how the tour started. And constant communication between myself, Max, Terry, Alan, and Olga Rafa, and I know Alex is putting a conference on in June, which is going to be fantastic in London. So it's just all taking off now. It's a wonderful feeling that people now are willing to get involved, and for me, the fear is gone. When I was first organising the London conference, I was a bit, there was a little bit of, oh my gosh, this hasn't been done before. But that was after I overcame that initiative fear, and I realised that it wasn't me doing it. It was something way beyond me and my ego that managed to pull that together. It was just it was all of us together that were involved. It was, so yeah, that's how the journey's taken us so far to to put the next 6 conferences on, which are going to start in Kent on Sunday, and then travel across the south of England. And then in June, hopefully travel up to the north of the country and maybe get over to Ireland if we can raise the funds, so that we can get to areas where maybe people don't have. I mean, in the south of England, we're lucky. We've got a lot of groups set up, and people get out on the streets, and we try to spread awareness. So it would be lovely. And I know there's a really strong group up in Lincoln, up in Liverpool, but it would be really nice to get up to Scotland as well, and just to unite everybody.
Wow. What do I say after that? Max has got a massive amount of information. When I met him at the London Chemtrails conference that you'd organised, I was kind of blown over by Max in regards to he's brought folders and folders of research with him, which must have cost him a massive amount of luggage allowance alone. But serious set of research that Max has done. He knows his stuff, and when he did his talk, he blew me away completely, just because of the depth of his knowledge. Now he was looking at the different types of planes, the different types of trails. He'd gone into the chemical makeup of what was being sprayed. His knowledge was phenomenal, isn't it, Mona?
Oh, it blows me away every time. It's like I'm very hungry for all of this knowledge and this. And Max, as I said, he's just an amazing energy and a way of helping me to understand. And he does. He researches everything, and and it's research where he completely covers all of his tale, as they call it. And I'm just so blessed that we've got him coming over, and that's why we're taking advantage of Max and Terry coming over and trying to get as many conferences in as possible. And we're going to be travelling in Max's van. I think people who've seen Max Bliss on YouTube, I think he's got a blog, he's got hundreds of videos. He has a red van, and he's painted it with anti-chemtrail messages, anti-Agenda 21, and I've got a lot of respect for anybody who can do that to their vehicle, travelling around and pass that message and get noticed. I've got such respect for. So it will be easy to find. Just look for the red van with all of the anti-chemtrail imagery on.
And you know that Max is doing something right, because he's actually being banned from Facebook, isn't he?
Yes.
He's constantly him and Terry are constantly stopped from posting, and so when that's happening, that actually they're saying the right things and they're upsetting the right people.
Yes, definitely.
Now, just give us a little bit of background. Can you give us a little bit of background about Terry? Because Terry does a lot of work with the fluoride. I think her name's Aileen, and she's been getting the fluoride message out across Southern Ireland, the anti-fluoridation message out. So I know he's been supporting her. What specifically is Terry doing with yourselves? Is he a key speaker as well?
Definitely. Terry, again, I met Terry the same time I met you at the London Chemtrails Awareness Conference. And Terry, again, with energy and the passion. And he's going to be talking about the normalising of chemtrails, which we see now within our media, on television, where we're noticing chemtrails everywhere. And he'll be talking about the health side as well, like rickets. He's done a lot of research into all of that. And the recent extreme weather events that we've had over the last 12 months, or even longer than that. And I think it's because it's Groundhog Day for most people. They just go from one day to another day, and there's so much nowadays. We get so much information. We're bombarded with information. So something really powerful might be happening somewhere in the world. But this side of the world, we forget about it because we've got to go to work, and we've got to continue our day-to-day things, and pay our bills and our own emotional sort of things we're traveling through. But we don't really realise just how many massive changes are happening around us regarding weather. And so Terry, I think, is going to be covering that. Shall I continue to tell you about what everyone else is going to be covering?
That'd be fantastic. I was just going to cover off that when I met Terry, and he was actually at the London Chemtrails conference. I was sat next to him, and he was showing the latest newspaper clippings on the vitamin D issues and the rickets, which he was pulling out at the time. And I absolutely agree. The whole solar management issue is a very, very important issue for people to be taking an interest in, because not only is it the fact that they are spraying untold numbers of chemicals on us, of which some of them are documented, some of them aren't, but also they're blocking the sun, which prevents synthesis of our vitamin D. And it's actually, vitamin D is a hormone which acts across our whole body, and therefore is absolutely key for good health and the reduction of inflammation, if nothing else. And he was highlighting that issue. So, and the normalisation of chemtrailing will be really, really interesting, because you know yourself, if you go back through some of the media and some of the advertising and films, they show it like it's the norm, and actually it wasn't. When I was a child, we did not have, and I won't say how old I was, I am, we did not have these trails. They disappeared. You can see the difference between what I consider a contrail from a plane, which would be normal, and a chemtrail, which just dissipates and makes this huge cloud cover. And we didn't have that as children. We really didn't. So I'm glad he's covering that off. And more people need to be aware of the different aspects, because often people say, they dismiss it, and actually it's because they do not understand and can't tell the difference between them. Now, which obviously you've picked up because of your photography, and you can't photograph the sunsets anymore in the same way. So do tell me the rest of the speakers of the events, because I know you've got Olga as well, haven't you? And she's written the directive.
Yes.
So give me a bit of background about Olga and this directive.
Well, for anybody wanting to find out more about the directive, Chemtrail Project UK have a website, and you can actually, through Alex and Olga, you can get rainwater samples as well. You'll send off the rainwater sample kit, and you can download the directive, which is, if you want, there's a petition as well to hand in. I took mine to the town hall in Kensington and Chelsea to hand in, and I was sent somewhere else, which wasn't so surprising. But they've spent quite a lot of time putting this piece of information together, where it took me, in all honesty, 2 or 3 times to read through it, because it's so informative. But all the facts and all the information are there. So for people, that like myself, I'm not the most articulate. I don't store. I'm very creative. I find it sometimes hard to speak and remember a lot of scientific information. So it helps having the directive when you're speaking to people, and they'll say something like, "Oh no, so how do you explain this?" And you can just look through the directive and say, "Okay, well this is a piece of fact. This is how you can research it for yourself, and this is where the information came from." And so it's a vital part of what we're doing with spreading awareness.
The thing is that there's a significant amount of people out there poo-pooing it, but at the same time, I come from a scientific background in regards to the way I was trained, and so I always look at the science and the research. There's documented evidence going right through Parliament and the European Parliament on what is happening, and it being used as a weapon. So for me, it's very hard for them to say, this is madness and it doesn't exist. Because actually, their own evidence, their own research and documents actually show it does exist. And, they've got documented evidence. Like I knew of documented evidence going back to 1999. Now, Max has it going back even further. And he had documents showing stuff that I'd seen. And I thought I'd done a lot of research. So, I'm all for people following up on what you're talking about and on what's going to be spoken about at this conference and this set touring events, because it's affecting absolutely everyone and our crops. That's the other thing. Now, just cover off, because the other people you've got are Ben Dodds, and you've got Alan Potter, who are from Chemtrail Awareness. Is that right?
Yes. And these are two very important people, as they were both presenters at the London Chemtrail Awareness again, and they're putting a conference on in Kent on Sunday. But I put a fundraiser on recently to try to raise funds to get the fuel together and pay for some of the conference halls. And Ben, without any hesitation, travelled up to London to do a presentation. And I like Ben and Alan's style as well. They're everyday, down to earth guys. I think all the presenters, we are real people. We're not paid to do what we're doing it because we know that this is the most important thing that we should be addressing at the minute. And this is priority one. And so Ben, I met Ben through Facebook as well. I'd seen a lot of his photography and a lot of his videos that he'd been posting as well. And his presentation it's like talking about personal experiences as well, and how people became aware and how they know the difference between contrail and a chemical trail. And with Ben as well, he's very factual. He has a lot of information that he can remember and he can recite, which is fantastic. And with Alan as well. Alan is a lovely guy. Alan's somebody that's really supported me through everything. He's always offered anything you need to do, just let me know. And that's how this the tour, the conference, everything has happened because of all of these people. It's not down to me. I'm just the one with the mouth that says, hey guys, we can be doing it. And then everybody else says, yeah, we can. And then it happens, and that's how it happens. So that's Terry and Alan.
So just tell me specifically at each event, is it the same format? Is it the same set of speakers, or is it going to be different speakers in different ways? What's the information? What the specifics, I suppose I'm asking, behind each kind of speaker that they'll be covering off?
Right, this is the complicated bit, which we've been communicating at the minute, trying to find out, listing who's going to be speaking about what.
Yeah.
Everybody has different strengths. I mean, Max is pretty much all-rounder. And Terry, I mentioned what Terry's going to be talking about. We've got Olga. Olga will be with us for some of the tour. And Ben and Alan will be with us for some of the tour, but not all of the tour. So Max and Terry are our main presenters.
Okay.
At every conference. And we've heard from a fantastic filmmaker, Jonathan Adams, who's hopefully going to be with us for some of the tour filming, and we're going to be filming as well. So hopefully be documenting the conference all across.
Oh, you still there, Mona?
I'm still here.
Okay. Now tell me about the locations of each event that you're actually running, because I know you're going across the country effectively, aren't you?
Well, in April we're just doing the south of the country. Hopefully by June time we'll have venues set up for Scotland and for Liverpool and Wales. But for the April conferences for this tour, we're starting on the 6th at the Hyde Park protest, which is at 11 a.m. till 1.
So how do I find you in Hyde Park?
Well, we're at Speaker's Corner.
Yeah.
And you'll find us.
I've been very loud about chemtrailing.
There's going to be a lot of loud. There's going to be a lot of banners. There's going to be music. There's going to be a lot of energy. And I know people that are coming a long way to be part of this. And we're all bringing our evidence. And we're going to all walk over at 1 o'clock to the Environment headquarters and hand all of our evidence in together and hopefully get it all filmed. And so that's going to be the start, I guess. That's why Terry and Max were going to come over originally.
Yeah.
And then on the 7th in Rainham in Kent, between 6 and 10, that's 10 p.m, we have the Kent conference, and that's at Parkwood Community Centre Hall.
Yep.
And
have you got a postcode for that?
No, but if you go to the Chuggaboom UK Geoengineering Chemtrail and Agenda 21 Awareness Tour Facebook page, you get all of the details. And there's a group, and there's also an event page. So you've got 2 to choose from. You can leave messages and you can post things on the event page, but the group is specifically just to get information about each conference, and we're going to post all the live streams and all the videos to that group.
If you send me all those links, Mona, I'll put them on the TNS Facebook page for you.
Fantastic.
Okay, cool. Now, so you've covered off Kent. Where else are you?
Well, then we have Glastonbury.
Woohoo!
Well, you know, it's wonderful how all of these locations came together. Glastonbury happened through a friend who's organised the Exeter conference as well. Through her, it was through a family member of hers who lived in Glastonbury, and then they passed us on to somebody else. And then this person just said, "Wow, I'm going to do everything I can." And then before we knew it, within 3 hours, we had a conference set up in Glastonbury, in the town hall, in the small hall of the town hall. So that's going to be happening on the 8th, and that's going to be from 6 p.m. till 10 p.m.
Cool.
And I'll just add that, you know, for all the conferences, especially the evening conferences, during the daytime, we're going to be in the towns, we're going to be handing out information, we're going to be talking to the public, we're going to be letting people know that we're in their communities, and explaining a bit about the conference, and inviting people to come along. And I'm also going to mention that the conferences are all free. They're all free, so anybody can come. What we did for the London conference is we passed a tin around at the end to raise funds for the next conferences. And this time it will just be raising funds to pay for the halls and to pay for the fuel to get us to the next town. But people don't have to put anything in. This is free, so people, should feel that they don't have to if they choose not to.
But if someone wanted to make a donation to you, Mona, how would they do that? Do you have actually anything set up anywhere so that if anyone does feel like they want to donate to this tour to help you out?
No, we haven't really. I mean, I've been selling art on eBay, and received it. And though I say this, somebody very kindly sent me $100 in the post today. I won't mention her name to embarrass her, but I'm very grateful for that, and that'll be going towards the fuel. And whatever money we do raise will go towards if we have any money left over, will go towards planning the June tour. And as I said, we're hoping to get over to Ireland and up to Scotland for that one.
Fantastic. So we're up to Glastonbury. Where else are you going?
On the 10th, we're in Exeter between 6 and 10 p.m. at the Phoenix Centre, which is in Gandy Street. And then on the 11th, we're in Nailsworth, which is Stroud. And that's in the canteen, and that's at 7:30. And then we've got 2 days free, which we might fill between now and then. I'd imagine with Terry and Max, those days will not go wasted. We might end up posting something on Facebook that we're going to try and get to maybe Bristol somewhere and get out there on the street and have an awareness day. And on the 14th, we plan to go to Portsmouth, and we're at the Jolly Sailor, which is, I've got the address here, which is 54 Clarence Parade. And we're going to be there from 12 noon until 6 p.m. And then on the 15th, we're going to be in Brighton, and we're at the Cowley Club, which is 12 London Road. And in between all of these locations, we're hoping to visit some very interesting places as well, which I don't really want to say because we don't want to actually spoil the element of surprise.
Yeah.
But we will. We've got some great places that we're going to be visiting and handing information in and asking questions, and you can find out more about that, I guess, by tuning into the event page and following us along the tour. But I don't want to give too much away because I don't want to put too much pressure on everybody.
Now, you were saying that you are looking to organise events in Ireland. TNS goes out across Ireland, so it's Irish-based. So, are you looking for some event support over there?
Oh, most definitely.
Okay.
If people within a community can find a conference hall, it doesn't have to be anything grand. It could be anything, as long as there's a space for a projector and maybe about 100 people to sit down comfortably. And then we spend, a little bit of time getting information out at the community centre, at the hospital, leaving information at the hospital, at the colleges, just giving handfuls of leaflets for people to hand out around their families as well, and just to get everybody together. And that's how the London conference started in my community where I live. And since then, now I walk down the street and people stop me and they have conversations, and they've done all the research and they're aware, and now they're looking into the health side of it, because there is, this is a positive thing, because people can learn about what they can be doing to protect themselves and to take care of themselves. It's not all doom and gloom, and it's like the freeing, the waking up as well, and the whole energy change of people that I've known that live in my community now. It's a freeing experience. It really is. That's my personal experience. It's been so freeing. Getting involved and becoming aware, and it's an endless awareness as well. The choice of the red pill and the blue pill, as they. You can't swap once you've taken one, and you go down. And once you're aware, that's it. You can't numb yourself out. You just keep falling down that rabbit hole.
I liken it to the Wizard of Oz. Once I've seen behind the curtain, you never look back. you just don't believe that there's not somebody else running the show.
I could never go back to have the awareness and the connection I have with myself now, and realising that, I've been living on just such a base level of fear and denial and control for so long, and then you kind of like step 3. It's almost like seeing for the first time. I think so. I heard somebody explain it to me, being able to see, to have all your senses for the first time, and to really experience all of the beauty in this world, really feeling it as well, and not just seeing it and being told how you're meant to feel or think or see it, but really feeling it for yourself. It's as if for me, it's almost like, how people go to the doctor. Now, I don't go to the doctor. I go to see my holistic therapists. But when I went to the doctor, if I had any problem, there would be a medication, a prescription that was written out, and it was normally something to suppress very quickly. So my body didn't have a chance to heal itself. And I think that's how I experienced everything around me, where everything was suppressed. You're numbed down through television, you're programmed through all the television and the media, and in your education, the education system, you're not told the real history of the planet. You're not encouraged to ask questions, and I could go on and on and on along those lines. And just, with the chemtrails, that's just the scratching of the surface with me. The being aware, that is like, okay, that's the awareness. So they're spraying all of these toxins onto us. Why are they doing it? Then you find out why and how it's connected. And for me, that's just the beginning. That, Agenda 21, which is happening, it touches almost every part of my life that I experience now. I will look at something and I will say, oh yeah, that's connected to this. And it all starts to make sense.
What you're saying effectively is the awareness is empowering.
Definitely.
So it's not about being driven by fear. You guys are driven by the love of the fact that you want your health and you want people around you to be healthy. You want people around you to be aware of what is going on, and you want us all to live in a good society.
Definitely, and it's possible. I've just seen that within my community. I live in a city, global village, where people stop and they talk to each other now, and they have deep conversations and proper conversations with each other, not about shopping and what film they've seen on the television and what this person did to me, about really important things that connect us on a deep level. And the awakening has a profound effect on the way that we communicate with each other on so many deep levels.
Wow, Mona, this has been phenomenal. I can hear your absolute passion and your drive to make this happen. And when I met you, I wanted to interview you at the time. I said no, because I could hear that in your voice. But I'm really glad I've got you on the show. It's made my day, to be honest. How can we help you get this information out further, me and my audience? And what call to action would you like to ask us to make today?
I guess for anybody listening, know that I am, if I can do this, anybody could do this. Start by setting up, a Facebook page. If you feel isolated where you are, you don't even have to use your own name. Set up a Facebook page in your area, wherever it is. If it's Hull against chemtrailing, or Hull against Agenda 21, it's your choice. Whatever you feel you choose to do, and then just get in touch with people like Chemtrail Project UK. Get in touch with the Global Skywatch and ask them, please, I've just started up a page or a group, can you help promote me? And it will get promoted, and before you know it, lots of people like yourselves have felt isolated because, you can't communicate. A lot of people are still in a lot of fear because it's about letting go of everything that you believe to be true, and sometimes people are comfortable in the lives that they've lived, and they're afraid because you have to let go of everything, and the fear of being uncomfortable when you've been secure. So a lot of people around you might think you're a bit loopy to begin with when you start talking about geoengineering, chemtrails, but you might find out that somebody at the end of your road has been looking just to meet somebody like yourself. And it's a brilliant way to connect, to get out there and to speak to people. And if you can set up a conference, all you need is a hall. All you need is Facebook and a hall, and then to communicate to people like yourselves, Debbie, speak to local radio stations, speak to local newspapers, and then ask for help. Ask for, do your research. Find people, speak. Don't be afraid to ask people to come and to do some presentations. That's what I did. And then have love always come from the heart, and it will all fall into place for you. And there's never any need to feel isolated. You have to make the change yourself, though. It doesn't happen for you.
Yeah.
But when you've done it once, you realise just how easy it is. It just happens. When you do the right thing for the right reason, it just all happens so naturally.
Perfect. How can people get in touch with you if they need to donate or they want to help in regards to these events, Mona? What's the best way to do that?
We haven't got a pay scheme. As I said, I got sent $100 in the post today by somebody, which was very, very generous. And I've been doing all the fundraising myself with the help. I've just got to thank so many people that have helped fundraising. I've had people I've got lots of pieces of art still. We did a fundraiser about a month ago, and I couldn't auction all of it. We didn't have time to auction all of the art. But people have been really generous. They might not be able to get to the conferences, or they might not be able to give money, but they've given something. I think if you're going to be coming to the conferences, if you can get to the conferences and you can donate something in the pot, that would be fantastic for now. For the time being, this isn't going to be a massive. We just need enough money to get us around the country, around the south of the country at the minute, and then. When this tour is over, we've got enough money to focus on planning all of the next conferences. But we haven't set up a payment scheme at the moment, and I guess I'll be speaking. It's something I've been avoiding. To be really honest with you, Debbie, I'm not a person that likes dealing with money, but I've become humble. In doing what I've been doing, I've had to learn to be humble and ask for help. But the way that we're all very laid back, and we're all coming from our hearts, and we just know that we're going to get from one place to the next place, and we're just going to, as we said, we're going to pass around the pot to every conference, and people if they can give, they will give, and we'll have enough fuel to get to the next conference, and we'll get enough, hopefully, fuel. Can I just say now that Max Bliss has been so busy. He gets so many messages all the time. He's constantly overloaded with messages, and he's working at the moment full time to get the funds together to come over here on his own back, and he will be driving all the way over from the south of France. That's dedication, and then he's going to be driving us all across the south of the country. So yeah, if people want to help, I guess get in touch with us. If you've got any information or can make any suggestions, if you've got any good ideas, get in touch with Max Bliss. Well, you won't be able to now because he can't receive any more messages on Facebook. But you can get in touch with me, and if I can pass messages on. But I'm getting quite a lot of messages myself. Or you can just get in touch with the event page, the Chug-a-Boom Geoengineering, Chemtrail, and Agenda 21 Awareness Tour Facebook page while it's still up and running. I must say now that out of all of the Facebook pages have been a bit temperamental. People have been contacting me saying it's gone, the Exeter site's disappeared, and then the next day it's back again. So I do know that Facebook, we're being played at the moment, and I know that a lot of people don't always get all the information I'm putting out. So the best bet is to copy the information. If you can get to one of these locations in the south of England, come along. Get a group of you together, share the petrol, and come along and meet and connect with lots of others. And it's about putting your ideas and your information with what's already there. And supporting people who are just becoming aware and that are a bit frightened as well. It's good. There's always a different group of people that are like yourself, Debbie, very aware and, have been awake and very knowledgeable. And there are also people that are just waking up to having their bubble burst. And so it's really good that every single person that comes along is helping somebody. And that's what's been so magical about the conferences so far. Everybody's wanting to get involved, and we all can help. We all have abilities to do something, no matter how small it is. We all have that ability.
You're so right. Every little helps, and it's all the small steps towards the bigger goal, isn't it?
Definitely.
So. Mona, this has been phenomenal. Thank you very, very much for coming on Food for Thought. Your passion and drive just are hitting me in the face, in all honesty. And it's been my absolute pleasure to talk to you. I'm looking forward to getting Terry and Max on at some stage, if I can, and probably giving over my whole show to the two of them, which I really don't mind doing. You must be doing something right, you guys, because Facebook is banning you, and I'm all for supporting you. Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Debbie. It's been lovely speaking with you. Thanks ever so much. Bye-bye for now, and lots of love.
And you. Hi, everybody. How are you? This is Deborah Walker. This is Food for Thought. This is TNS Radio. This is Saturday. Who's with me in the chat box today? Let's see. Thanks to one of you who, know who you are, who's offered an event location to Mona, who did a fantastic interview, didn't she? The guys are bringing together a number of events, not only in here over in the UK, but also in Ireland. So do support them. That'd be lovely of you. But yeah, thanks for the person who's offered us the events location, and I've sent it to her just then. And if anyone else has got any ideas about events or can put them in touch with anyone, then do get in contact with them. I've actually posted their direct Facebook, the events page on the Facebook, and also their Facebook, which is where they post everything, and I've posted the Skywatch bits and pieces. Now we have a donate button on the left. Hopefully it's working. We have a new player on the left as well. Woohoo! And but yeah, we rely on donations to keep us going, so please do donate if you can afford to. That would be fabulous. And of course, if you don't want us to keep going, then don't donate. Is my advice. Okay, so who's with me today? Hello, someone else. Hello, Freeman Jack. Let's see. Hi, Vin. Apparently he's been doing the player. How lovely is that? Let's see who else is here. And Aileen. Yep, I've posted those links for you. I think that's how I say your name, Aileen. And I'm sure if I've not said it right, that everybody will bundle into the chat box and privately PM me telling me that is wrong. Okay, so hi, Mike. What time is it in the US today? Shouldn't you be asleep? I can never understand the time. Hello, and the captain's here to keep us all ship shape. Alan Sov, hello. Let's see. Bitchin's here. Yep. Hello, Bitchin. And apparently he doesn't see the chemtrails. What about with your eyes open, Bitchin?
It's good.
Anyway. I thought I'd talk to you about the importance of nourishing yourself. Yeah. And respecting yourselves to create more energy. in the long run, because often we don't nourish ourselves. We don't think about truly nourishing ourselves and what it actually means. And with what we're doing on a kind of day by day basis, particularly with what we're eating, and we often just eat food on the run. We often see it as a functional thing to do, just to get it out the way with. More often than not, we're too busy thinking about loads of other things. We're not actually thinking about truly what is going to nourish our souls, nourish us from, for every single level. Food and feeding our souls to have energy for the long term should be happening all of the time throughout our life and throughout our day and throughout our, everything we're doing. To truly enjoy ourselves in this life has to be our key goal, surely. And so that we experience life to the full. Yet we feed ourselves in so many ways that just doesn't allow this to happen. That I'm really conscious of it with the people I work with, and even people who are kind of in this field that I work with. Even we don't often feed our souls, and end up overworking and things like this, and just eating on the run and eating anything that we can grab and put into ourselves just to treat it as fuel. And yet that doesn't truly, in many ways, feed us. It just doesn't, on the level of that sort of soulful life that I'm kind of talking about, which nourishment truly gives you. We give away our power and energy when we do things that, are not making us happy and stuff like that drain us, that put us in fear and just don't feed us properly. There's so many things that don't nourish us in this life. We do jobs, we read things, all that sort of thing. We have television that actually impacts not just food. All of these things don't nourish us. And, nourishment for me is on a number of different levels. And, nourishment, when you truly are nourishing yourself and you respect the fact that you have to nourish yourself, then actually you respect your energy and you see your energy as being really precious, and the energy that you are creating within your body as being really precious. Because there are so many ways, just as I started mentioning there, that truly do deplete it. And it can happen so easily. So I'm not just talking about food, and I never just talk about food at the end of the day. For me, so many things deplete us and don't actually feed us. And I see the feeding of the body and the health of the body in a much wider perspective than just actually the food that we put in. I know that you can put health on a plate, and actually that can still lead to you being ill. You can still end up ill, even though you've got health on a plate. I see so many people who basically seem to have the right diet, and yet their lives are so out of balance. And it's because they're not treating their lives as a whole and seeing it as a whole. They're just doing specific aspects of it. And actually, nourishment and respect for yourself truly is about seeing your life holistically. Therefore, it's really, really important for me to actually respect what is precious energy in this life. We have telomeres, and actually they depict how long your life is going to be. And how many times your cells will effectively reproduce within your lifespan. And you reduce your telomeres by actually doing things like smoking and drinking and eating processed foods and taking in chemicals and all those sorts of things. They all take a toll on those telomeres and reduce your lifespan. Now there's research just recently, and products now come out in the last few years that actually extend that and give you more longevity, but they're highly expensive. So for the majority of us, protecting that is absolutely key. And therefore, energy is, and the way you nourish yourself is really important for me, because it's so easy to deplete it on so many levels. And it can happen, like I say, so easily. All of a sudden, it's almost like sand grains going through your hand. You just see them disappearing. You think, blimey, what happened? On a day-by-day basis, often we're living our lives from one end of the day to the next, and it's gone. It's like sand just gone through, and you think, gosh, where did that day go? And what did I do? How many of you can actually recall your days and stuff like this? And yet, when we're truly nourishing and respecting ourselves, those days become far more focused on ourselves and far more introverted in many respects. But they bring us back to what is truly important and a far more simplistic way of life. And, very focused on the Chinese kind of herbal side of things with my own practice and the meridians and all the energy side of things, and therefore that and the way they have their food and the simplicity around it all and treating food as medicine is really quite important to actually protect what is your precious energy and keeping yourself well in truly the long term, And so protecting your energy for me means not just the food, though. It is about things like, I go on and on about the TV. The TV drives me nuts, to be honest. And even, somebody told me the other day, you have to watch this program. And because, it reminded them of me and something that I would have talked about. And it was absolute drivel, and they were raving about it. They said it was, incredible entertainment. And in all honesty, I just thought it was drivel. But people put this into their bodies the whole time. And of course, it's all about perspective and, what floats your boat won't float my boat and things like this. But often we're very programmed to accept what is pushed at us via the television over and over again, and the news in particular. We've almost been conditioned to accept a level that's of tolerance around the information that comes out and how it comes out, and this is draining. It strips the energy out of us without even realizing it. The whole watching of the screen and just sitting in the position, I've said before, just doesn't aid basically the lymphatics to really function really well and things like that. Movement is absolutely key. That's what truly gives you your energy in many respects, that constant movement of the body, and through many ways, through your eliminations, through the metabolic waste, through the breathing in through the cell, and then the removing of the waste, the metabolic waste through the body, plus your actual movement. So you've got it at all those different levels throughout of the body. They are absolutely key. And, the way that we end up taking in information in front of our computers, all curled up, often very stressed and things like this, really does strip our energy out of us over and over again. And food drains us. That way of being drains us. And then the food, if you're eating food in front of the TV and it's processed, that's also very, very draining. Often these foods are full of sugar. All those foods, our energy is precious. It truly is. Our lifespans should be seen as being truly, truly precious, and for we should be considering how to nourish ourselves all the way through. And yet we're doing these things continuously through our days without considering the energy in those sand grains that we truly give away, that are just slipping through our hand. Our bodies end up having highs and lows. They're sent through emotional turmoils through the day, through our stresses of the day more often than not, through school runs and traffic, through work that's stressful, through performance management at work. Things going right from, you've got your foods, then on top of that you've got your highs and lows with the news constantly bombarding you, taking you on that emotional journey on purpose. You've got heightened television programs happening. Oh, absolutely draining what is a precious, precious energy that you have within your body. You end up driving your body so quickly. And then what happens is when you have those highs and lows of emotions, they drive your adrenals and effectively what you're doing is you want to eat more because your body's searching for more sugars. It's searching for more energy. Then we have things like pharmaceuticals that then take away our decision making. We are draining our energy away from our bodies, and it's so important. It's not nourishing. And pharmaceuticals do not nourish. When we need pharmaceuticals, then they're a big signal that you have not been nourishing your body and you've not been respecting your body on that precious energy that you have within it. Because pharmaceuticals take away your decision making. They change the makeup of your body. They're chemical, molecules that go in and do a specific job. They take away your power. Anything that takes away your decision making is taking away your power. And the television is dominating that in many respects. Pharmaceuticals, And if you are taking them, then believe me, they are changing your decision making. And that is disempowerment. Anything that's taken away your power is not good for you. It is not nourishing you. And it's draining your energy, your life force energy. How important is that to you? And then you've got organisations, they bleed you, telling you continually what to do, how you should be doing it, performance managing you, act like a bloody performing dog. Honestly. And people constantly, we're surrounded often by people who constantly see the negative. And this has become really conscious to me just recently, because someone was, Kate Larkinson, she sent me a link, and I've sent it out in my newsletter just recently this week. And she's so fed up with all the negative news. She's basically created a good news blog, and it's called that, Good News Blog, and it's on WordPress. So anyone who wants to add to that, absolutely brilliant. She's looking for people to contribute and things like that. So that would be fabulous of you all if you could do that. But we are constantly surrounded by negative stuff. It drives our emotions and our adrenals. It affects our health. And then our energy, it makes us more and more sensitive to stress. And that stress then affects our energies. Our energies become drained with that. And it can happen so quickly. We don't even realise it. It's almost like smoking and drinking. You build up a tolerance to it. It's only when you take it away do you realise the effect it's truly having on you at that point. It's all draining our energies. The poor soils that have made our foods a shadow of what they once were, an absolute shadow. Such a shame about what we're allowing to happen to our soils. The nutrient base is significantly reduced on all levels, and that affects the performance of our bodies fundamentally. So the plants that are grown in them, they're weakened. That's why they often need the pesticides, because the insects are attacking them because they're weakened plants. The insects don't attack strong plants in the same way. That's about their life force. Can you imagine? We're taking that plant life force and taking it into ourselves. And if you're eating meats that are full of hormones and from animals that are factory farmed in terrible conditions, then that affects your life force as well. All these things affect our energies fundamentally. They really, really do. And often we don't realise it. It's almost like that chipping away at it. It really is. So let's see what you're all saying in the chat box. Who's saying what? Hello, Popsy. Nice to meet you. And Bitchin' Bob, 20 fags and a few gallons of coffee. Hat's wrong with that for a few days fuel. Well, first of all, it's affecting your spelling, Bitchin'. If nothing else. No, what was I saying? It affects the brain, honestly. Oh, blimey. Let's see what else. And Captain, as always, is keeping us all going with his sense of humour. Had I rush on today, Deb? Tesco's own brand tinned mince and onions reduced to 20p a tin. Had to get a taxi home to carry them home. I'm really stunned, actually. I thought you had done all your prepping. I know you'd run a prepping, a survival and prepping thing event. And, I thought you had tons and tons of catering stock still in. Or is it just Marmite, or have you finally worked your way through all that by, I don't know, by eating it all and whatever else you've been doing with it? And Janice, hello, Janice. It's actually afternoon here, Janice, but it might be morning where you are, but hey. And Michael, can you not encourage Stingray to actually eat that food? Not during a naturopath show. What are you like, guys? Honestly. And Aileen, all right, Dale. You've convinced me. Switching PC off now. Thanks. And it's Deb. Right, so where am I with that? Okay. For me, it's important, as you can imagine, as a naturopathic nutritionist, to actually focus on proper food. Stuff that feeds your soul, that gives you energy for longevity. I'm all for longevity. Everything I put in, I'm always really thinking about what's the impact it's going to have on my body. And actually, you know, is it going to give me energy? Is it going to give me positive energy? Does this truly nourish my soul and my heart? And is this showing my body the respect it actually deserves? You know, in our society, we started to treat our bodies as machines. You know, it's almost like your car. In fact, people treat their cars better. They basically put fuel into their car and get them serviced far more regularly often than their own bodies. You know, and again, it's so important to feed your body in a way that actually truly gives you energy, that feeds your soul. You know, it's not a fast fix. Those fast fixes, you know, they soon wear off, truly, and they leave their residue. They're like watermarks. And I believe that everything we do is almost like we dance through life and we leave a watermark on everything, you know, we come into contact with. And actually, you know, these processed foods truly leave a residue and a watermark in your body that you can see and you can experience, and effectively leads to fatigue and, you know, truly poor body functioning in the end. And if not immediately, if you're really aware of it, if you cleanse your body out and then put some of these foods in, you will actually, you know, really see what they're doing to you. And it's important that we thrive in this life. You know, do you want to actually just live, or do you want to thrive and have a high quality life? You know, and then for the quality of your food, and, you know, I'm just going to point out, guys, the quality of your food, which isn't 20p own brand tinned mince and onions. And I'm glad you've apologised, Michael, for that, for encouraging him. And don't find a reason for him to use the canned, Janice. Honestly, it doesn't need any level of encouragement. It really doesn't. Oh, wow. And just as a complete aside there, the first functional computer made out of wood. Blimey, isn't that an abacus? I'm sorry, but isn't that the first functional computer? My bed. Just go back and check that. Anyway, yeah, where were we? It's all about thriving. It's all about laughing. Laughing is so important. I love to laugh, as most of you know. I spend most of my shows laughing at you, with you guys in the chat box. I nearly said at you guys. I'm really sorry. It's always a fine line, let's face it. Do I have, so Michael's asking, would you have any ideas about how we can rid our bodies of the toxins that come from chemtrails? Yeah, you can use things like cilantro, coriander. There's heavy metal detox out there produced by Dr. Giorgio. That's quite good that I use. I use things like specific homeopathics. I use things like chlorella. I'll use stuff like diet to draw toxicity out of the body as well. So there tends to be a multi-pronged approach that I will use for drawing stuff out. But what I tend to do is make it so those things cannot lodge in the first place in the fatty tissues, which is effectively where they tend to lodge. And then often they lodge longest in the fatty tissues that tend to not reproduce themselves the quickest. So things like your brain and stuff like this. So it's important to have the right oils going into your body and stuff like that. So there is often a multi-pronged approach to actually pulling out the heavy metals, depending on what's in there. But I'm sure other people have got some ideas about what you can do there. But predominantly I use algae and homeopathics to do it, and diet. So there you go, Michael. But thanks for that question. And Janice is saying, absolutely, you know, laughing is vital. I completely agree, you know. And I think laughing is really important for a high quality life. I really do. And being able to laugh at life and see it in a far more, you know, a lighter fashion. Because we are dominated by all this negativity, and actually it doesn't do us any good if we just constantly focus on it all the time, and it ends up stressing us, you know. But it's important what you feed yourself all the time. And the thing is, and I'll just come back to some of the chemicals that come out of the chemtrails, often they're more likely to lodge in the body, Michael, if you haven't got a high nutrient diet. So the body will go scavenging for the equivalent chemically, or as close as it can get on like the periodic table, when you haven't got those minerals in your body, so if you haven't got those specific chemical compounds in your body happening. So it's a bit like radiation. You're more likely to suffer from radiation issues if you haven't got a good quality diet. So it's a bit more difficult to explain. I might do a show on it again. I have done a pod on it at some stage. But your body scavenges, and if it's finding it via those heavy metals, it will then be more likely to lodge in your body than if you have got no nutrient deficiencies. This is where juicing is really, really key as well. The more nutrients you push in, the more likely that you are going to change those fatty tissues and move it out of the body far, far faster. And iodine helps. Well, just be careful with iodine and how you use it, because of course it does have an impact on the thyroid, and depending on what you're trying to achieve, it can work either way and be beneficial in some respects and not in another. So you just need to know your own health picture around iodine as well. Yeah, almost like polarity. In many respects, what I might do is a separate show on it again, and just highlight specific bits and pieces around how you can dislodge some of the actual heavy metals. But I tend to use what's called heavy metal detox. That's actually what it's called, the product, and it's created by Dr. Giorgio, and it has things like coriander in it. So I have coriander in my diet every week, and I have juicing almost probably every couple of days, basically. So I'm always pushing in masses of nutrients. I will use things like brown rice to pull out. So the high fiber foods effectively help to draw out any toxicity. And let me think. And I will use specific homeopathics, but chlorella is one of the biggies that I tend to use. I use a lot of algae. And remember, guys, algae are highly cleansing though as well. And there's other foods you can use, but those tend to be the ones that I have all the time effectively going on. I have, I'm really lucky that, I do have equipment that basically helps me to negate what's going on. And don't forget, changing your whole resonance. Changing your resonance can change absolutely everything. Resonance work is really fascinating because, of course, that's, heavy metals are going to, they're going to influence how your body resonates, and therefore it's always beneficial to, work on that, work on your energies. Yeah, MMS. You see, MMS is always one of the last things I tend to use. Rev Rashes, probably has more information on that. I tend to see it as quite an aggressive way of dealing with it, with the body. And I come from, because of my naturopathic perspective, I'm always about dealing with the body quite gently in a step-by-step approach, and working with the body systems to actually allow them to naturally eliminate. So kind of pushing things in to push things out over time, making sure the elimination channels can actually deal with what's coming out. And so MMS is always, for me, an absolute last resort. And, I remove heavy metals from my own body on a regular basis with, what are just basic foodstuffs and homeopathics. And no, Captain, the algae from around your shower plug isn't any good. Thanks for that. Anyway, where were we? So I was talking about, what was I talking about? Fast fixes. Because often, in our society now, it's all about the fast fix, getting everything into the body as fast as possible and everything happening. And people overestimate what they can achieve in a day, and therefore often are absolutely bombarded with trying to achieve stupid amounts of things and end up at the end of the day absolutely stressed. And but it's so if you have got that busier lifestyle, it's so important to focus on proper foods and not just grab anything on the way past to eat it, because that food will truly give you the energy that you need to actually live that lifestyle even in the short term, because the nutrients are absolutely key. So the fast fixes should be out, even though they're so tempting. So tempting to just grab it to keep you going for energy. Actually, they're probably the worst thing you can do, because they soon wear off. They so soon wear off. And they leave that residue behind, and they leave poor body functioning. They don't let you think clearly. They take away your thinking. They leave you fatigued. They leave the cells fatigued, slowed down. You know, so it's really important how you feed your body, how you feed your mind. The quality of what you put in truly, truly matters. It really, really does. You know, as do the people around you you surround yourself with. That all matters as well. And that's why it's so important for me to actually, you almost have to set yourself up for success in this life, particularly with the foods. You know, by bombarding yourself with a really, really busy day, having loads of things, isn't setting yourself up for success in the long term. It's just going to take away from you, because most people end up stressed trying to fit it all in and do it all. We're bombarded by all this information nowadays, but most of all, we don't actually know where to actually go and what to do. About what we should eat, what we should do, how we should think, all these sorts of things. It's all just a bombardment. And yet, you know, your own success is all about bringing it back to yourself and making life really simple so you can truly listen to yourself. And therefore, you know what is right for your body, not what somebody else has told you. So often, like I spoke to someone yesterday and I made it clear to them that I am just a guide. At the end of the day, they know their body far, far better than I ever will. And it's the same with yourselves. You know, I may have a level of expertise around how to cleanse and put the right diets in and basically build treatment plans to move people through ill health, to better health fundamentally. But you know your body far, far better than I ever will. And that's where it should always come back to. You know, so for me, but the reason people can't make those decisions is because they are filling their lives from one end of the day to the next. They're not truly nourishing themselves with things that they truly need to be doing. It's all about what they should be doing, all this stuff bombarding in. You know, so stop eating the fast fixes. You know, stop doing the things that are making you feel like your world's falling out of your pants at the end of the day. You know, it's not helping. It really doesn't in the long run. It doesn't give you a good life. It doesn't truly nourish your soul. You know, stop doing things that drain you. Stop eating things that drain you. You know, and being around people that drain you. You know, and increase the things that actually make you feel good, make your heart sing, make you want to dance on the rooftops or run through the woods. Captain. And yeah, Captain, you're absolutely right. Even thinking about fitting it all in is very stressful. So just simplify your life so you can listen to yourself. Feed your soul. That's all it's about. Just feeding your soul. And often, as you know, I speak to particularly women who basically, processed foods and cakes and biscuits, all part of, what they feel is the part of, adoring themselves and actually feeding their soul. So they eat them in abundance. It's like, oh, but that makes me feel really good, those foods. And therefore they eat them in excess because they can't stop. And they're designed like that. You know, one of my first interviews that I did was with Gregory Ann Cox, and she designed food. And, you know, some of the research she did showed that actually they designed food to push you to eat more. It's all so that you cannot say no to the next biscuit in the packet, the next cake in the packet. They don't make profits by you going, oh, that was nice. Oh, we'll only design the one biscuit. You only need to eat one biscuit. Actually, they're designed for them to be so nourished that you cannot say no to them. That's how they make their profit, guys. But how you left feeling afterwards, the performance of your body afterwards probably tells you otherwise. It's probably telling you that it's not about nourishing yourself or your soul. They don't nourish you. In reality, what they do is drain you, and they drain your energy, and they drain your fundamental life force. They truly do. And we often think we are just what we eat, but that's so wrong. There's loads of things. Oh, you are what you eat. Actually, the quality of what we absorb totally with our food and everything else in our lifestyle, this is what actually gives us the quality of our life and our life's energy. The Chinese say hasty food, hasty energy. Just think about it, because it's true. We are what we absorb through every cell membrane of our body, not just what we put in our mouth. So you can use what you surround yourself with to supercharge your energy, and have true success in this life, which for me means actually living it the way you want to live it. Surrounding yourself with good quality foods. We should be demanding good quality foods. We should be holding out for good quality foods, not some of the junk that we're surrounded with, grown from reliable sources that we know the quality of the soil is good. We should consider how we're cooking and preparing the food and looking after ourselves in general. We should constantly be thinking about those things. It really is simpler than we think. It is not complicated to do. So many people, they're filling their days with stuff. They have a massive amount of things to do. I see people's to-do lists. I'm almost bowled over by how much stuff they have to fit in. And their health, where's their health on there? It's often not even on the list. It's on the bottom of the to-do list, if it's even on there at all. The busy fools. But busy at whose expense? Probably your own at the end of the day. And eating on the run, packaged foods that aren't digested properly. We do it all of the time. We don't digest foods that we eat on the run because due to the stress, the body is busy doing other things. It's not focusing on actually digesting. Digesting takes up a massive amount of energy. And that drains our energy, not eating the right foods and eating like that. We are doing ourselves a disservice by doing that and by overloading ourselves. And we do it because the society actually pushes us to do it. It's almost like there's buttons there. Click that one, click that one, click that one. And then basically we might all perform in this way and do this way and behave this way. Step back out of it and get back in touch with your body. And then start to look at what truly, truly nourishes you at a soul level. And stop them draining your energy in the multitude of ways that is happening. Because that draining of energy is just the draining of your life force. And imagine it like sand going through your hands, your fingers. So surrounding yourself with the right people and the right things are key. They should be heading in the same direction as you. They should be energizing you. They should be supporting you. There should be a gift that they bring to your life. And that is the same with food. That is the same with your work. That is the same with what you read. That is the same with what you watch. Everything you do. We should all be spending time in a way that truly feeds us and nourishes us. Nourishment is so much more than just food itself. It is just a totally different way of living, but it's truly a simplistic way of living. And it's one that actually puts you at the top of your to-do list, at the complete top of your to-do list. And you do it first over everything else. And so many people nowadays, they say, do what you love. And that just seems so easy, doesn't it? Oh, you must do what you love. Go out and do what you love. But actually, it's true. It is so, so true. If you want to nourish yourself from every level, then doing what you love actually truly matters. Because that is true nourishment. And it's showing yourself the total respect that you should be showing yourself. Because when people work from that level, they don't get ill. That is it. You just do not see illness when people are coming at their health and their life from that perspective. It's an inspiring way of living your life. It really is. And it's nourishing. And it shows respect. It is all about respecting yourself. And how many times do you work in a day and think, this is about nourishing myself and this is about respecting myself? I want you to do it. Our society pulls our weaknesses apart. It's all about how weak we are. They look at strengths and weaknesses, and then they won't look at the strengths. They'll go, oh, look at what you need to improve on. All the time they find ways of seeing what we constantly need to improve and do better. And that's a drain on our energy. I'm not interested in what I can't do well. What can I do well? And therefore, I'll do that really, really, really well, and I'll enjoy doing it, and I'll have loads of fun doing it. I'll put my heart and soul into doing it. I'll have passion doing it, because if I focus on improving my weaknesses, guess what? it doesn't matter. It doesn't feed me. It doesn't drive me. It doesn't inspire me. In fact, it drains me. So build on your strengths. Use your strengths to grow and develop yourself and share them. Create momentum for yourself with what you're doing and enjoy it. It'll give you more energy in the long run and it will nourish you. And it's about the fact that you respect that you're good and you're good with doing specific things and you don't fit into boxes. So you're not going to tick all those boxes because that's not what you're meant to be doing. So don't wait to be told how to do things. What you do actually matters, and how you create and cultivate things that nourish you is only about you. That's why I said earlier, someone like myself should purely be like a guide. It's all about, I hold information that can help you go in a direction that actually, will improve your life. Society likes to tell us to do things in a certain way. But what you do totally defines you. It's all about that. And that is what will give you your true health and well-being and your balanced state of mind. Good health is so much more than just avoiding disease and illness. It truly, truly is. It's about living life to the full. And appreciating what we're given. Appreciating our strengths, appreciating who we are and how we live it. And understanding that our bodies need nourishment and we all don't fit into the same box in the same way. That your nourishment will be different than mine. What gives you energy will be different than what gives me energy. Now, Tom Evans, myself, in a previous podcast, we talked about trusting your gut. This is all about intuition. Your gut will tell you so much about what you're doing and how well it's nourishing you. It really will. That's the great thing about it. But only if you listen, only if you take the time out to listen and let it actually give you the answers. The gut is so, so influential on the rest of the body. Literally, it's your intuition speaking. And so many of us override it over and over again. Look at the amount of IBS that's in society now, IBD, colon issues, Crohn's disease, those sorts of things. Diverticulitis, all sorts of stuff. You've got inflammation happening, autoimmune, the research is showing it all comes back to the gut area. And yet we override what is our, when we say, our gut feeling. We do it over and over again. We ignore the signs over and over. We override what is effectively one of the key dashboards of our body. The gut being out of balance means your whole life and your whole health is out of balance too. The signs of our gut are key and will show you clearly when to back off, back away, reverse out of a situation. It's a great warning system. It really is. And one that you have to listen to before, the poor people who basically have got these illnesses, and predominantly they're caused by stress. Fundamentally, these illnesses start with a stressor or the person feeling that they have to have performed or been a certain way and they haven't put themselves at the top of their to-do list. They've basically had a to-do list rather than a to-love list, and they haven't loved themselves. And they haven't put themselves anywhere on it and put at the top, how do I nourish myself the best today? How do I truly respect myself the best? How do I respect the longevity of my body? How do I ensure that it gives me what I need it to give back to me in energy? And what does it need for me to do that? If you listen to your gut, it will truly help you to nourish yourself. The gut picture is absolutely key. Absolutely key, because like I said, you create, you can create inflammation issues, and you change your pH if it all goes out of balance. It can cause things like your malnourishment because your vitamins are made in there. The whole breakdown of food happens predominantly in that area after the stomach, the whole digestive tract, but the absorption happens in part of the gut area. You need that to be functioning properly to have good health. You don't want it to become stagnant and slow, because guess what? That then imbalances the rest of the body. It creates less energy because it's going to have the same effect. It's going to then stagnate all the way back through the body, bit by bit by bit, and then affects not just the body but the mind. You can almost guarantee that a body that is basically stagnant will have less energy to use overall, and the thinking will be less clear and it'll be more fuzzy and foggy. And loads of people say, I don't have clarity of mind. I feel really fuzzy all the time. I can't remember things. Well, guess what? Have a look at your gut. Things like, who's holding you back? The gut will tell you. What's holding you back? Sit and listen to your body. It'll probably tell you loud and clear. Your body is an amazing thing. It really, really is. And you have your intuition in every cell, and therefore it reacts. Listen to it. It will tell you so easily how you can nourish yourself. Are you in love with what you're doing? Eating, being? Are you in pursuit of harmony in your life and food? Because the, Taoist theory of food is all about harmony in particular. Taste, texture, and symbolism of food all matter on so many levels to them. They feed the soul, never mind the bellies. The ancient Taoists considered a healthy diet as crucial to fulfillment in life. They called it one of the 5 sacred tools of life. The other tools would be medicine, and then there's sex, breathing, and longevity. Chinese medicine goes back thousands of years, and all of them are interconnected. They've got a lot of history there. Without good food, you cannot expect your breathing to be right. This is how they interconnect them all. Without good breathing, you can't eat properly or enjoy sex. And I did a whole show on sex back in February. So go off and listen to that in case you're wondering about breathing and all that sort of thing around it. Without eating healing foods, our health suffers and our longevity is shortened. Now, the Tao says that no matter what we do, the sun will come up and new life will emerge from the old. And the principles are based on sound common sense and simplicity. And guess what? I'm all for simplicity. And this is all about bringing it back to simple things make good health. If we incorporate them into our lives, we can improve our health. Enjoying food and nourishing yourself. When we digest our food, we generate new, fresh energy that revitalizes us if we allow it to. It keeps us truly alive. Dead food, dead thinking and dead people who are thinking in negative ways and dead programs, all this sort of stuff, and the news, leaves us feeling sluggish and lethargic through our whole life. Dead energy, food, which is food that doesn't give you any life force. It leaves the body feeling actually very unstable in itself and starts a totally destructive cycle. Most people will tell you as soon as they basically start eating that food, guess what? They can't get out of it. They struggle to get out of it. And those foods are designed, as I've said, to basically draw you in. Oh, why would you, they don't make a profit from you only eating one out of the packet. The closer the food is to its natural state, the less complicated and less sophisticated the processing is of it, and the less refined it is. Guess what? The more goodness will come out of it. And the more nourished you will be. So proper food creates movement and transformation when you digest it. It truly gives you the ability to change your energy. For sustaining you, for sustaining your life. It enables you to actually have enjoyment and pleasure in your life and work effectively in whatever you choose to work in. Most Chinese medicine actually, traditionally is based on the idea that energy moves within our bodies along like pathways, the meridians, and when they become blocked, we become stagnant, or they increase the flow, and the fast flowing also creates ill health, going to be one or the other, to live this way in a far more simple way, which is all about nourishing yourself and coming from your heart and actually listening to your body is basically a preventative way of living, It's all about preventing illness in the long term. But you don't really want to focus on preventing illness. You just want to live in a way that actually just nourishes you, which makes you feel good. It's about the fact that you've respected your body and you've respected yourself. If you don't do what you love and you don't care about yourself, you're going to have a short, tired life full of frustration and genuine unhappiness, totally unaware of what's actually going on. So it's important to live a life that respects yourself and your body, and this needs free-flowing energy within your system. When we don't have it, we become ill, and we constantly change this, including our gene expression, through what we eat and how we live our life. The great thing about food is that it can be used to change your mental state. The right foods with the right mineral picture can improve your mental state. It really, really can. We're told constantly that food doesn't do this, yet masses of research shows that it does. The Taoists believe that the more rigid your thinking pattern, the more yang we are, and the need of yin and those sorts of things. They believe in that whole energy, that push-pull, the chi energy, the yin and yang, the whole balance and harmony to create and restore equilibrium. The aim is always to achieve that harmony and balance, always. This is the same with the emotions. They are affected also by what we eat, never mind who we are surrounded with and what we're watching, reading, listening to, etc., etc. Most people know about sugar. Most people, basically don't realise what wheat is doing to them, and dairy and the opiates and coffees and caffeines and all sorts of things. But it's all about simplicity. Less is more. It's not about denial. It's about common sense to take the simplest path. So today your whole job is to become a devotee of your body. Come on. Have a vision of energy, nourishment and respect about how your day might look like now if you lived it from that perspective. Be in love with the vision of your body. Be in love with the vision of your life lived from that perspective. Being so in love with yourself and how to nourish yourself that you start to see it happen around you. You don't need to get distracted by outside forces because it's all about you. Yes, it is. Stay true to your own self, your own spirit, and the way you love to live your lives, whilst truly nourishing your body and your soul. Build on your health, your lifestyle positively with those around you. Trust your gut and listen to it and ask it, because you can live this game any way you like, but you need to live it in a way that is nourishing and respectful, that will give you far better life than one that is lived in haste. Just show up, shine your light. Come on, guys. Make your magic happen. I know you can. Apparently, Shazise is in the house. Hello, Shazise. Okay, I am, as always, just the warm-up for Shazise. Thank you for coming along today. I appreciate it. Thank you for being funny in the chat box. You always make my day. You know you do. Okay. I can't remember what we're meant to be playing. I was told. I think it was... we're playing Tiger Feet. One of my favourites. Bye, guys. Have a great weekend. Take care.